Okay, welcome to the final lesson for week 3, where we are going to be applying competitor analysis. So in the previous lesson, I introduced competitor analysis as part of the micro environment. We discussed competition, we discussed the nature of competitions. We had a look at the Porter's 5 forces model. And we also discussed technology and how it is shaping the industry. We discussed benchmarking. And in this lesson, we are going to analyze competition by applying the 5 forces model to a retail industry store for what do you call this? Online store. So just a reminder, these are the things that we looked at in the previous lesson. We looked at the bargaining power of buyers. We looked at the bargaining power of suppliers. We looked at threats of substitute products and services. We looked at barriers to entry, intensity of rivalry, and so forth. And we also discussed the questions that needs to be asked when you are considering the rules of competition. You need to ask yourself, how much power do customers have? Because customers can determine whether you have got a power or not. I always see Apple users, iPhone users. Hey, I've got iPhone 17. I've got iPhone this. So they are the ones who are actually fueling the power that um, Apple has. Otherwise, if they were to boycott, Apple would be in trouble. You also ask yourself, how much power does suppliers have? Suppliers, if they strike and say that they are not going to provide you with resources anymore, it will be difficult for you to then save your customers. How likely customers are to switch to an alternative? You also need to think about that and also come up with ways on how you can provide alternatives. As I said, Toyota have got a lot of alternatives. How many firms compete and how big is the industry? That's the intensity of the rivalry. So I wish there were groups, but unfortunately there are no groups in class, so we are not going to spend much because it's only me and you, and I understand you are traveling, so I wouldn't want to bother you much on these exercises. But these exercises do help a lot. For example, if we were to do a competitor analysis for Woolworths, you know Woolworths, right?
Yes, I know it.
Yes. So realize that Woolworths have a certain clientele, certain customers, mostly it's affluent customers. You'll find Woolies in rich suburbs to say, you wouldn't find Woolworths where ShopRite is. It's rare, truly speaking. Um, and when you look at the bargaining power of buyers, you'd realize that Woolies, you've got customers who are very sustainable, can afford. So they do have a say, because most of them, they are from the highest social hierarchy. They are the rich, if I had to put it that way. There are people who can really vouch for Woolies even at its lowest level. They can always buy Woolies even when they are broke because they are very loyal to Woolies. And Woolies also speak to their culture. For example, if it's Jewish culture, they will sell things that are Jewish oriented. If it's Greek stuff. So you have got the bargaining power of customers there with Woolies compared to people at ShopRite who can always go there because it's always the lowest prices. But with Woolies, if they increase their prices, people can always still buy there because they've got the bargaining power or the purchasing power. Then when you look at the bargaining power of suppliers, you'd realize that comparing with their competitors like Checkers and Pick and Pay, Woolies have got their own suppliers. They've got their in-house suppliers. They've got their own brands like milk. Or most you won't find Sunlight liquid at Woolies. It will be rare. You won't find Coca-Cola at Woolies because they'll have their own brands. So they've got the bargaining power of suppliers because they do not want to compete with Checkers by having the same supplier as Coca-Cola, or selling tastic rice that you can find at ShopRite, you can find at Checkers, you can find at Boxer and so forth. All of a sudden, it is tastic as a supplier who is now uh, determining the competition. I don't know if I'm making any sense with what I'm saying. You know? Then, of course, you also have a substitute of sub products. You realize that Woolies have got a variety of products. For example, their bakery, they can have religious bread and non-religious bread. So they are giving customers a variety of bread to select from. Some that is used yeast, some that do not use yeast. Then the intensity of rivalry. It becomes difficult to compete with Woolies if you are ShopRite, because you realize that since it has got its bargaining power of buyers, it means that competition with Woolies will be very intense. Woolies is always going to be at the top because it has got its own suppliers and so forth. Then barriers to entry. When dealing with high-class brands like Woolies, it becomes very difficult for you to grow within that market, to have unique quality products like Woolies, have that quality service, customer experience. It will be difficult for you to enter that market. So that's how you apply the five Porter's forces. Then how to use competitor benchmarking? Of course, you need to understand the resources that you have in order to compete with companies like Woolies. Do you have enough resources? Do you have enough employees? Can you pay them? What about the quality versus the quantity? All the stuff that we discussed in the previous lesson, you have a look at them when you are doing competitor analysis. You also need to understand the platform that they are using. Are they on TikTok? If they are on TikTok, they've got 50,000 followers. Are you able to get to 50,000 followers yourself? It is always crucial to think about those things. What about their intensity of campaigns? Maybe they post 3 or 4 campaigns per day. Do you have the capacity to have such digital marketing campaigns? Those elements are always crucial. So that's all that I had for you, Kelvin. We meet again next week on Thursday. Are there any questions and comments so far? I don't know if you are still there, Kelvin, but thank you so much for coming and for being patient with me throughout the night. It's greatly appreciated, and we covered a lot, many things. We actually did many things that I could not even imagine that we could cover.